All right, so when we load our paintbrush, and I'm going to do this on the screen, maybe if you can see it better. I'm going to start with the shark, and I always start in the background with painting, and I work my way forward. If we're drawing together, which usually we do in class, but doing two designs, it's pretty tough to do drawing and painting. When we draw what's closest and work our way back. When we're painting, it's opposite. So when we load our paintbrush, if you know your angles, we want to load our paintbrush at a 45-degree angle, which means, you see that kind of angle, like an A? You know what an A looks like? Like a tent, right? I want to pull that paint thin on the side. I want to make sure that the paint doesn't go below halfway on my bristles. I never want to touch the metal. So I thin the paint on both sides, keeping it at the end. And when I do that, it keeps my bristles really close together. 1 second, baby. If I hold my brush straight up and down, I can draw right on top of that line that's drawn for me, getting a nice clean line, okay? So that's what I want my sharks to do first, is go ahead and start with the blue of the water. And you can look at your printout if you need to see where that goes. Yes, ma'am?
I wish I had a shark.
I want shark. Where they come?
Dita,
Huh?
I wish I had a shark.
Yeah, I don't have a shark.
Do you want to draw it yourself?
Listen.
Yes, ma'am.
You see what she's done?
You didn't get brown for hers?
Go around all that.
Did you forget?
Listen here. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn the music on while we do this, but I'm going to get my unicorn started. Now, my sharks, just outline first, and then you're going to fill all that blue in. Yes, did you get my palette for unicorn? All right, let me check out our unicorn. So, we want to start with the darkest part of our horse, our unicorn first. And you should have purple and blue on your palette, right? Let me show you something real quick. See where it's darkest on the right side of the face and coming down the neck? I'm going to use a little bit of blue. Now when I'm mixing color, I don't want to mix my color all together. I'm going to pull some from the side over. Hey Sophia, did you want to do the shark or the unicorn?
The shark.
Okay. I got you right up front, baby, right up here. So you're going to start with your blue. So for my unicorns, on that dark part, I want my purple and my blue together. And I'm going to pull a little tiny bit of black over on the side of the plate. And I want to outline from this line of hair that goes over, I'm going to outline right beside the face here and down around about halfway on the horse, underneath the mouth. Now, does this look like watercolor to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So acrylic is what we're painting with, but you can make acrylic act like watercolor if you add a little bit. All right, so I'm going to now paint in about 1 inch away with this dark kind of purpley blue with a little bit of black. I want that to be a shadow. But I also want to pull a line. I want to pull some of the hair out and make it kind of dark. So maybe across the face. Maybe I'm going to outline the lines that I've got already drawn for you. Maybe those will be good as the dark ones. And you'll probably add a few more.
That's good.
And yeah, guys, remember, these are your paintings. They don't need to look like anybody else's. Just feel kind of loose with it. Have some fun with it. And if it's raining, when we get out of class, I'm going to give you guys plastic bags. We'll dry your pieces, but I'm going to give you bags because we don't want water to hit these. They'll run. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of white to mine as I'm doing the chest coming down. I want to lighten that up. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. And y'all can look at the color on your printout. So I've got blue now on that side That's a beautiful sky blue. Gonna add some of that. Now it just kind of runs with some drips of water, and I can do that by actually adding water. If I want to have those drips, I don't have to.
Okay, just outline your hair.
So I can add some water, and you guys are holding yours flat. So if you want some of those drips on the bottom, kind of add some water and put your blue rag. I would put my blue rag here, and then I'd put the water on it and then kind of twist it up a little bit. That way the water will drip, okay? So that blue is really a beautiful blue. Hey, Erin. Gonna add some more of that blue on the left side. And I'm gonna add some white to it, so it's lighter. So at closest to us on the neck, it's gonna have the most light.
Okay.
So that's gonna be a little bit white here.
Okay. We gotta do some more.
You finished your hair?
You gotta.
Finish your hair. So I'm using a good bit of white now because I want it to feel a little bit more like that watercolor. And watercolor uses the white of the canvas or the paper. And that's one of the beautiful things. It's kind of like gem tones.
Sorry, y'all.
How's traffic coming from Indian Land? Right? And the rain too?
We came as soon as we could.
Y'all are right on time. Okay, so I've got some lines in my mane.
I'm gonna put your jacket
Now
on.
you guys take your time, keep going. For my sharks, you guys need to fill that blue in. All right guys, I'm gonna fill that blue in, remember? I'm gonna outline everywhere where I see that blue.
Look, watch her, watch her.
See that little bit, in the printout you can see it kind of goes up and around behind the shark's head. There's a little bit back here, but we'll deal with that later. Now I'm gonna outline my shark,
Okay, we'll wait.
and then I'll fill in that background. So I'm gonna put some music on while we're doing this. All right, so on the unicorn, what I want to do now, I'm going to be really careful. Very carefully, I want to put in the nostrils and the eyes because they're black. Do y'all see that? So I'm going to thin that paint out, and less is more. Don't use a lot. And just paint with the point. Now I'm going to show you another trick. If you don't want to paint with your brush because the eye's small on the unicorn, you see the back end of your brush? You can actually dip that into the paint, the back end, and you can kind of push that around to get that more of a circle, okay? And that's easier to do than with the point of the brush. So try the back end. That should work for you. And you remember, just look at your printout if you're kind of confused on how that eye looks. It's curved on the left. Kind of goes into down to a little point.
Okay, there's not enough.
Now I'm gonna look, there's a lot of lead lines, what I call lead lines down at the bottom. But you've got to kind of put in the nostrils where you think, because it's not perfectly drawn for you. We don't want to give you all the info. So I've got those.
Mommy,
Yes, baby.
what makes pink?
Red and
White,
white.
Look at the picture, see what she did.
So I'm going to make those nostrils a little bit bigger here. Now if I need the shadow, if that needs to be a little darker, I could always come back while I'm working with that black and add a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and do the dark of the ear on the left, which is a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple, and some black. And I want to do the inside of that ear where it's really, really dark. And then I'm going to do a few lines around the face, especially around the eye. So these are just some dark lines. I'm putting those in. And I'm going to stop right there. Go back to my shark. How are we doing with the water on the shark, guys? Are we doing good? Yeah? Is anybody ready for the next step on the shark? You are? Okay, so if you're not ready, don't worry about going ahead. But if you are ready, what you want to do now on the shark is you're going to go dark to light, and I'm going to go from the bottom up. So you see where the dark shadow is underneath the shark? On your printout, you see how bright the green is on the shark? So the green that you have is called emerald green. And if you mix that with that sky blue, you can get some pretty turquoise colors if you want turquoise. Now if you want a different green, more like a Grinch, like a neon mad scientist green, you can mix that yellow and blue, because yellow and blue makes green, but that yellow's a very intense yellow. So if you mix that with that blue, that makes a different kind of green. It makes a really bright green.
Yeah.
But now if you're mixing yellow, you guys know how many quarters in a dollar? 4 quarters in a dollar, right?
Yeah.
So if I had 3 quarters, how much would I have? And if I had 1, how much would I have? Right. So the yellow, I want 3 quarters worth of yellow and 1 quarter worth of blue to make that bright green. Okay? Because if you got too much blue, it will dark. Okay, so now on the shark, I'm first going to start with the black shadow underneath. I'm going to do it on the bottom of both fins and on the bottom of its belly. Y'all see that line drawn for you? That's where you're going to keep that black contained. That line and under, okay? All right, so with the shark, I kind of dried my brush off a little bit, but I didn't clean it with that black, and I'm just rubbing in. And this is what I call dry brush, because the paint's kind of dry. I'm almost out of paint, but it's just a little bit of black, what was left on my brush, just rubbing it in. Don't make it too dark. You can add white to make it gray instead of doing this dry brush if that's what you need. I'm going to just grab some purple, bring it over on the side of my plate, and mix in a little bit of red. And that gives me a beautiful magenta color. So it's a red purple. I'm going to outline the body on this side. See that beautiful color? Now that's a little bit of red with purple. All right, I want to do the blue that I see on the face and the ears. Now that blue is a little bit darker than the sky blue that I have on my palette, but I can mix a little bit of purple with it if I want, or a little bit of black to go more towards that neutral blue. And I'm going to outline around the ears. And I'm going to outline some on the face. All right, so with that horse, I'm going to add a little bit more color in the face. Remember, you may want to add a good bit of white. A little bit of that purple and pink with a lot of white. I'm going to go ahead and put a dot on the side of my eye on my unicorn, so it's got a little bit of light reflecting. I'm going to do white around my nostrils, get that a little bit brighter. The next thing I'll do is the horn, but I'm going to wait till you guys are ready, and I'm going to move back to my shark. Work our way around the shark. I'm going to mix a bright green and show you two different greens. I'm going to get a little bit of green here, and wow, look at that immediately. That's like a super like electric green. Can y'all see that? That yellow and green? It's like Grinch green. If you want it that bright, you can do it. And I'm going to put it on the nose of the shark. And a little bit down below, you can see on his underbelly here, there's a little space. But I'm going to add this green right through here.
Don't make a mess of it, Edison. You hear me? Make it pretty, don't make a mess. Do what you want, but don't make it, don't just slop it.
Yeah, you guys take your time. Quality takes time. You don't want to rush it. I'm also going to add a little bit of blue with this green. And I'll go more towards my teal turquoise. And at the bottom, I'm going to pull down the fin at the top, his back fin, his tail.
Okay, not before me yet. She's not ready for it.
And then I'm going to work into a little bit of blue and red. So that's going to go kind of towards purple, but I don't want to get purple. I just want a deeper blue. So don't mix too much.
Get wood.